this is how the module works. So basically, it has 3 steps to configure on the OpenMRS end. Just as a question, is anyone not familiar with DHIS2 on this call and who would like to know more about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so DHIS2 is basically an aggregate reporting tool that, for example, if OpenMRS is a patient level data that is stored in patient EMR and in clinics, and DHIS2 kind of sits in district headquarters or country headquarters and takes data from multiple OpenMRS instances or multiple EMR instances so that it can report on the status of healthcare in that district or country. So to send OpenMRS data to DHIS2 has been an important feature in the OpenMRS community, and till now or before the module, mostly around the world, what happens is people kind of build reports in the reporting module or collect data on a paper and enter them up in the DHIS2 system manually. So this module helps us to send data from OpenMRS directly to DHIS2. And the way it does is, it kind of has 3 steps to be configured on the OpenMRS end. So the first step is entering the report XML or creating it. So if we take a look at the project in the GitHub, so this is the report template that needs to be imported into the OpenMRS. What this report template is, basically the data elements or the questions, like how many HIV patients are there in this location. A question like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what this report template contains is, it contains questions such as how many people have HIV in a particular location and how are they disaggregated, meaning how many male people have HIV in this location, how many female people have HIV in this location. So disaggregations are the separating factors, and data elements are the questions. So if a person has a DHIS2 instance set up, we can look at the data elements that they use for reporting. So in this instance, they are using malaria cases, malaria deaths, malaria tested positive, and so on. So these are the ones that need to be entered in the XML report, and the XML report needs to be manually written the first time. So once the report is written, just to give an idea, choose. the maternal and child health report is the XML report that we just imported from here. And how this module works is it has the questions on this side and the disaggregation values here, and the query is written here. So finally, how it answers the question is it takes in SQL queries that generate the outputs for the question. So in our XML report, we had the annotation part of it filled because it has been written by someone. If it is not initially written or left blank, this part of the report would be left blank, and we need to enter a SQL query that generates the required result for this. And this is the first configuration step. The second step that needs to be done is we need to map locations on DHIS2 end and OpenMRS end. So locations in DHIS2 are known as organization units. I'm not quite sure why. Give me a moment. If anyone is not hearing me properly or needs me to go into deeper detail or lesser detail, just stop me in the middle and you can explain it to me. Sorry for the. I guess it's taking a little longer than this. Anyway, we have organization units on the DHIS2 end, and we need to configure them for OpenMRS. So for the case, we need to we map OpenMRS locations and organization units by entering a location attribute known as code. So for so this location attribute needs to be filled. Okay. So are you able to see my screen? Yeah. So we need to fill out the location attribute called code, and this needs to be filled from knowing the code from DHIS2. For example, yeah. So if I say this is the code used in DHIS2, and once we come here and the location, that links OpenMRS location and DHIS location, then the second part would be, yeah, you need to configure the DHIS2 location, username and password. So I've already configured it with the username, password, and the server name. And that's it. These are the 3 steps that needs to be done to allow reporting data from OpenMRS to be sent to DHIS2. So we can check. We also have a REST API that allows us to generate know 3 different things, know what locations are coded and what reports are available, and run the report. So in this case, if I check for sorry for the buggy internet. I can check for location. So these are the 2 locations that are coded in the OpenMRS end. These are the 2 reports available in the OpenMRS end. And we can run a report by selecting by giving the organization unit and the date. So this is the output generated that can be sent through a curl command or can be sent through the module. I'm unable to show that right now because we are working on another part of it that I'll talk in a bit. So in this case, when we select the monthly and we do preview, we'll be able to see the report values for all the locations coded, and we'll be able to post to DHIS. But right now we are working on just so before I go to that, there are 2 formats that are used to send data from OpenMRS to DHIS2. The first one is DXF2, that is specific to DHIS2, and ADX is a generic format that is being adopted by DHIS2 and OpenMRS as a common messaging format. So this is the module's project, Jira project. Presently, we are trying to support ADX, and as we can see, this the module has a requirement for the person to know SQL or to configure data in SQL. So what we are trying to do is there are two ways we are trying to handle this. The first one being including reporting module. So people having OpenMRS already have reporting module set up and they have their reports set up in that. So what we plan to do is use reporting modules reports and match it with the XML report that I just showed you, and generate the results and directly post them. The second one is it gets very tedious to write the same SQL query for different disaggregations. So we plan to include a SQL remember feature that kind of shows a list of SQLs that have already been written. And the people, I guess, just a minute. I'll at least show the report import from. Okay. Not worked with the DHIS2 right now, but this is the second messaging format that we have been using. This is the ADX format. Um, I'm sorry, did I lose everyone? I've been rambling about till now. Okay. But I was talking about conceptually. Is everyone following, or do they have any questions till now? I think that I've been very clear. So I guess this is how the imports can be done this way, but it is done automatically through the module, but it is in a upgrading stage right now. And I guess people might be interested about knowing that the main problem, another problem with this is it needs to be implemented to be acknowledged. So we are working with two teams right now for implementation, that is Kenya and Ghana. For Kenya, they are testing it out in a test location, and if the reporting module version works or the upgrade works, then they plan to use it in multiple locations in Kenya. And in Ghana, they are trying to implement the current version so that they can send the data right now. And ThoughtWorks is actually looking into an implementation in Nepal, and they also plan to use the SQL upgrade, SQL query model enhancements and reporting module before they can implement it. And we have a GSOC project coming up called the DHIS2 Web API. Okay, it's about call time, but just to give a last update, there's a DHIS2 Web API that is a kind of smaller project, but it kind of integrates DHIS2 Web API and OpenMRS so that you don't need to generate a XML report manually. Instead, it gets the data elements and disaggregations from DHIS2 automatically and updates them. I guess that's about it as an update. I'm not sure if anyone else has any questions or is interested to know more about something, but there is a talk thread. So this has all the updates on DHIS2 integration, the progress, GSOC IDs, implementations, and requirements. So if any implementation has any requirements, they can come here and directly tell their requirements so that the community can coordinate the efforts. And that's it on my agenda to talk about DHIS report.